Welcome back to the Plays with Cars YouTube channel and another episode of Project Audi where we change the oil yet again, this time on our fourth different Audi. Anyways, this is our 2011 Audi S4 and we finally have it back from all of its dealership repairs, which we will detail in another video, but it's time for us to do our maintenance. And the first part of that is obviously an oil change, because you should always change the oil when you get a new to you car. And one of the things we are doing here is this is the original oil filter housing. And there's nothing wrong with this particular one, but you can see it's made of plastic. And they are known to crack and break as they age, and since this car is 110,000 miles on and is 10 years old, we went ahead and upgraded to the ECS tuning metal housing here. So we have the metal housing that goes on up here in the very top of the motor, right on there. And so that will also look nicer up here than that gnarly plastic piece. So we do have that. We've already installed the ECS tuning billet dipstick here so that we can check the oil manually, because the MMI doesn't always want to tell you, and it's always good to have a backup. And other things we are doing while we are in here include the magnetic drain plug so that we can keep an eye on the engine. And speaking of, we went ahead and got a oil analysis kit from Blackstone Laboratories. This is car's new to us. It does have 110,000 miles on it, so we're going to go ahead and get the oil analyzed and see what is what. One other piece is underneath, there are all these underbody trays on these Audis, and this particular one was missing some of these clips, or they weren't really receiving well, and it had mismatched screws, so we went ahead and splurged for the complete replacement set. So we will replace all of these little inserts and screws before putting that back in there. But that is our first initial service that we're going to do to this car. The oil on this one's a little different. We're not doing the, we normally do the Lubramoly, and they sent us the Pentosan, which is also a really good Euro brand. So it's the High Performance 2 there in 5W40. And yeah, so we're going to put all that together and then move on to the next thing. Alright, oil change is all done, and we changed all the clips and retainers out underneath for all the spot shields. Everything fits perfect now. It's so beautiful under there and nice to do. There is our oil filter housing looking all nice and in there. Full of oil. Oil change is all done. We are now working on spark plugs and coils. We are pulling out the first plug right now, and part of taking this thing apart to get there was the old air filter. It's got a K&N filter in it that is absolutely filthy, so I'm going to go clean this while Susie does the plugs here. But we got brand new NGK plugs right here, these laser platinums with some brand new OE Bosch coils. There was a random misfire in the code stored, and you can kind of feel it a bit rough at idle. We didn't have any service records showing spark plugs having been done, although we did find one broken clip already on there, although these valve covers have been off, so who knows. But we're just going to replace all 6 and get it done. We've had enough Audis and enough ignition wheels with Audis to know that you just change all the plugs and coils. That is a maintenance item, and this is part of making sure everything is done right on the car before you tune it. Alright, so first plug is out of the hole, and that's what we've got. Not too terrible, but compared to brand new on the left, obviously, used on the right, we've got a bit of wear going on. The big thing is the gap is a lot bigger. See the gap right there in between the electrode and the ground strap? Can you turn it just a little? A little more, right there. You can see the gap on that is much tighter than on this one. The gap has been worn away on these particular plugs, so it is a good job to be doing. Alright, all 6 coils are out, 3 of the plugs are back in, and 3 of the coils are back in, and I just wanted to do a shout out about this tool. We've done a bunch of Audi plugs and coils, of course all on A4s, one 1.8 and two 2.0s, and I've never really needed this because they kind of pop straight up the top and they're real easy. But here on the S4, where it's a V6 and they're sideways and access is a bit harder, and you don't want to be prying against these valve covers, they recommend this tool. And man, I gotta tell you, this thing was slick as snot. Definitely got to have one of those. We're developing this drawer of special Audi tools. So we've got the spark plug coil puller there. We need this particular socket here to take off the oil filter housing. Yeah, so just starting to create kind of this collection of parts just for Audis, or tools just for Audis. So that's our little special drawer here. And boom, we are done. So all 6 coil packs are changed out with brand new coil packs. All 6 spark plugs are changed out with brand new spark plugs. We cleaned and oiled the K&N air filter. Did an oil change, including changing the filter housing here for the ECS tuning metal one and putting in a magnetic drain plug. Up here underneath, we changed out all of the hardware. So all of these bolts are new, as well as all of the receivers for the belly pan. So that, look at that, no droop at all. Belly pan is perfectly secured with all of the bolts and receivers working as intended. So yeah, I think we're good now. She's got 110,000 miles on her on the button, and we have finished all the maintenance that we intended to do on this, except for the cabin filter, which, because we're all grody, we'll do that one later when we do some more work on the inside. So I think we're ready to give her the first fire.
Yes, we are.
All right. So we did have to move the coolant expansion tank here out of the way, but it wasn't disconnected, just this little vent line. And then here on the intake system, all of this was taken off, so make sure to get the vacuum line back in and whatnot. But we are all put back together. All right, let her rip. So everything sounded great, looks good, no leaks. So I'm going to go ahead and pull her out and take her on a test drive, but we're going to call that one done. So preventative maintenance has been completed on Project Audi S4, and now we can start doing some serious mods to it and see if we can't get it to go faster than that project. So yeah, stay tuned for lots more with Project Audi S4. As coming up next, we are going to do a whole bunch of mods to that thing.